if you're carving like flower and leaf or doing some tooling designs, I'll show you how to use most all of these tools. What I'll do is I'll cut in like using my swivel knife here. This is not perfect, it's just a practice run here to show you how to use these tools. This piece of leather is just a little bit wet, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. I've got a B802 Craftool beveler right here, and what I'll do is I'll bevel around everything. All the tight corners and everything, I use the B802, and for the longer straight cuts I use a B803. Just to use a light touch, and with a little practice you'll get the feel of how heavy you should bevel. I'm going to put this weight on here to hold this piece of leather down, and I've switched over to the B803 Craftool beveler. Just about got everything beveled here. Okay, I'm switch back to the B802 Craftool beveler. And I'm going to stop for just a minute and use my hairdryer to dry this piece of leather out, and then I'll show you how to use the other tools here. Okay, I've dried out the leather a little bit, sort of received the design and actually stay in. If your leather is a little bit too wet when you tool it, as it dries, your design will come out of it, and it won't be as crisp as you would really like. So you'll have to experiment with the wetness of your leather, and you'll get it just with a little bit of practice. I've got a veining tool, the larger veining tool right here, that I'm going to show you how to stamp into this leaf up here. You can put that right there on the center, and that highlights that leaf. Depends on how big the leaf is. I put 4 on one side and 5 on this side. Next I'll go to the pear shader, and well, before that I'm going to take that veiner and just tap, kind of lightly vein this flower just a little bit. It's very light. And then on the end of the this cut mark right here, take the smaller veiner and put a design there, and then I can come in the center right there. And this small veiner also makes a good stop. You can come in here and lean it highly with a lot of angle on it, and that will put kind of a stop there and kind of give it some definition. Also, I use the small veiner for veining the stems of my leaves. So just very lightly tap that in. That's a very narrow vein right there. So next, I think I'll go to the pear shader. And so you can take it and lean it with the small end and tap it like that. And then in the center, you can kind of really hammer that down. And then right here, I'll turn that around and kind of highlight and bruise that down like that. You can take it right here and kind of give that a little mark right there. And then I can come back with my swivel knife and put some cut marks in here. I'll just put simple little cut mark right down the center and some little cuts on each side to highlight this. Cut down the center, and then like a few marks on each side. And then right here in the center of the flower, I can put a cross hatch. Put 3 or 4 cuts one way, and then come back and put 3 or 4 cuts the other way. That gives that a unique cross hatch. And then you can take your camouflage tool and lean that and kind of give it a kind of a burst out from the center there. Need a few more cut marks on my flower here. So underneath here, I'll put a cut, and then on each side make some little nicks. Like that. I've shown you what you can do with just a few basic Craftool leather stamping tools. The basic 7 that I like, except I haven't used the A888 yet. And what I like to do with it, I can get up in tight spots with the sharp corner, and then I can actually, if I've got a lot of carving, do all the background work with this little tool, and it really brings out the definition of what you've carved in there. Like it kind of gives the raised up effect to like this flower here. And also I lean this tool, this little background tool. Use the blunt end when I'm doing a lot of, when I get the moving with my tool, like I'll put the rounded blunt end around whatever I'm beveling. And when it's a tight spot, that's when I use the sharp end. See, I'll get up in here with this sharp end, and then I'll put my weight on there and lean my tool and just bevel around that. I can put some cut marks on there on my leaves right in here to kind of give that a little additional look. Something you can, well, that'll be another Leathercraft leather tooling tutorial on how to kind of highlight your tooling. Don't be afraid to just jump in there and just start creating some designs. That's how you learn. Like I've got all these, I've got these coffee coasters that are clicked out. You can actually cut out squares or rounds out of scrap leather. That's what I use when I make these saddles, Western saddles. They have a lot of scraps, so I've got a clicker die that my brother cuts out these circles and squares. I'll do a few cut marks here and kind of wrap this tutorial up. Right here on these leaves, I'll put like a little cut here at the top, and like 1, 3 or 4 little cut marks. And let's see, little cut mark there. More cut marks you add, the more unique your design becomes. So this has pretty much been a tutorial on how to use these 7 Craftool leather stamping tools. And this is the ones I would start with. There's a few more you could add to your collection, like maybe a cedar. You could seed the center of your flower, and different size veiners, and maybe a couple different sizes of pear shaders. But for my these 3 tools I use all the time: the B802, B803, and the A88. And those are my most used tools. Anyway, there's a little tutorial on how to create designs with your craft tools. There's the Craftool leather stamping tools and the impression that each one makes.